Okay, so let's have a look at question 1. So the first thing that we're needing to do is we need to distribute that 2. So we're going to take the 2 into both of those terms, and we're going to get 2x minus 2 plus 3 is less than 7 minus x. Now I'm going to move my x's onto the left side and my numbers onto the right side. You could move them either way. So I'm going to say 2x plus x is less than 7 minus 3 plus 2, which means 3x is less than 7 minus 3, which is 4, 4 plus 2, which is 6. We divide both sides by our coefficient of x, and so x must be less than 2. Okay, who got our answer to question 1 and made it so that it looks just like mine with the inequality sign, x is less than 2? Let me know. Awesome. Well done. Those of you who are new, don't panic. Remember, things just take time and it will come as time. Okay, so just be careful of keeping your inequality sign. Okay, question 2 was a little bit of a sneak attack because we had to be careful. Oh no! Okay, well, hopefully you'll know more by the end of this. In the second one, we have to just take negative. This was a little sneaky one. I was trying to see if I could trick you. So I'm going to have x. I'm going to have negative 3x minus 7 is less than 2x minus 1. Kathy, how can I help? I see your hand.
Yes, Kathy.
Kathy?
Okay, your hand is down.
Okay. Okay, so that was the first step. So we just needed to distribute the negative into that bracket. Now I'm going to get my x's on one side and I'm going to get my numbers on the other side. So I'm going to say I have x minus 3x minus 2x is less than negative 1 plus 7. Okay, so that's what I have on my left and that's what I have on my right. On my left, I've got x minus 3x, which is negative 2. Negative 2 minus another 2 is negative 4x, and that means less than negative 1 plus 7, which is 6. Okay. What happens when I divide by a negative? What happens to my sign?
It changes.
Yes, it flips. When we divide by a negative, our sign flips over. Okay, so I'm going to divide by a negative 4 on both sides. Those are going to cancel. I have my x. My sign is going to flip. I have 6 divided by negative 4, which is going to be negative 3 over 2. Okay, and that would be my answer. So make sure your inequality sign is the same as mine. And if you got that right, let me know. Tanya, how can I help? Yeah, do you have a question? Okay. Guys, if you put your hand up, please to unmute yourselves in chat just so that we can actually hear what you have to say. Otherwise, it just wastes time for the rest of the class. Chosi, yes, how can I help?
Ma'am, from the second step, there's x minus 3x minus 7. Don't you say since x minus 3x doesn't equal to
Where are you getting the minus 7 from? Oh, x minus 3x minus 7. Yeah, okay, yeah.
So, ma'am, I'm asking, since it's x minus 3x, don't you say 2x minus 7?
Okay, but x minus 3x, that's going to be 1 minus 3, which is going to be negative 2x.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So not positive 2x.
Okay. Okay,
that's where I think that went. Okay. All right. Next question. Who have I got?
Okay, we still have like 3 hands. Lindo Guthe.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Lindo.
Yes. May I please ask again? Can you please explain why do the signs change?
Why does the sign change when we divide by the negative?
Yes.
Because in an inequality, if I was to move it to the other side, so at the moment I've got negative 4x is less than 6, okay? If I move that onto the other side and I move this onto the other side, I would get negative 6 and my 4x would be over here. But now my x is on the open side of the crocodile's mouth, not on the closed side. And so a way for us to just skip the step of having to move the x to the other side is when we divide by a negative, we just remember that we need to flip that sign.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just so that
Thank
it's on the right side of the crocodile mouth.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Okay, last question, Kanya, and then we move on down.
Kanya? Okay, I think we can move on.
Okay. Oh yeah, so with decimals, guys, it's better to rather write
Hello?
it as a fraction.
Hi,
Yeah,
it's
Kanya, ask
Kanya.
your question. Yep.
Yes, we are joining the lesson for the first time, ma'am. We didn't really see the questions. Can you perhaps share your screen so that we see what you guys are doing and dealing with and so forth?
Okay, sweetheart, my screen is shared with you, so you should be seeing it in front of you, so you can see what's going on. But all of the lessons that we've done previously to today are all on the website, and you can go and look at them and watch them whenever you're ready.
Oh, I'm joining Zoom from my phone, ma'am. I'm joining it from a phone.
You should still be able to see the screen on your phone. I'm going to
Yes,
pass
I
you
see
on to
the
Mr.
screen, but I
Shongwe.
want to see the questions, ma'am.
Okay, the questions are on the board though. What I'm going to ask Kanya is, can
Where
you
is the
send Mr.
board, ma'am?
Shongwe? Mr. Shongwe, do you mind helping out Kanya in a message for me?
Yeah, let me do that, brother.
Thank you, sweetheart. Oh, I'm calling you sweetheart now. I'm just
That's
sweethearting
fine.
everyone. Okay, guys, let's move on down. So this was our first question, which is just recapping what we did on Thursday. With regards to the question that just came in now with, can I make it a decimal? It's really better in equation work to always keep it as a fraction. So rather keep it as -3/2. Okay. Okay. Today, we are going to be focusing on simultaneous equations. So this is what we're going to be focusing on. And today, we're literally just going to do super basic ones just to get our sort of method correct. And then in our lesson on Thursday, we're going to try ones that are a little bit trickier. Okay, so before we get started, who has done simultaneous equations in class? So that's when you have to find X and you have to find Y. You can either put your hand up in the emojis or you can let me know in the chat. Okay. So we've got a few people. Cool. If you have done it, can you tell me what method you did? So which method you learned with it? Oh, just started today. That's great. Okay. Elimination. Okay, so I'm going to show you two different methods today, and they both have their benefits. You can decide which one you would like to work with, and I'll keep on showing you both as we move through. Okay, so the two methods that we're going to focus on today, when you get to this in your class, if you haven't done it yet, is we're going to do the substitution method, which is my personal favorite, and then we are going to do the elimination method, which I do also like because it has benefits in certain questions. Okay, so I'm going to go through this question super slowly with everyone so that even if you've done it in class, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go very, very, very slowly. And then as soon as we finish this one, I'm going to let you try one for yourself. Okay, so let's go through this first one. There is also graphic. You're absolutely right. We're just going to focus on these two for the moment. Okay, so for substitution, that's the one we're going to focus on first. Our goal in substitution is we want to isolate one variable. That's really what our goal is, okay? So when I say isolate one variable, I mean you could isolate X, or you could isolate y. And when I say isolate, I mean I want it alone on one side before the equal sign. Okay, so for example, there are lots of things we could isolate in these questions, but over here, let's say I wanted to isolate that x. In the next one, I'll show you where we isolate something different. Okay, so if I want to isolate x, that means I want x to be all alone on the left-hand side of the equal sign, which means I want to move that y onto the other side. So I'm going to have x is equal to 13 minus y. Okay, is there anyone who is unhappy with what I have written so far with isolating that x? This is your time to let me know. Okay, cool. Now, the cool thing is that that x, this x over here, is the same as that x over there. So where we have x, instead of writing x, we're going to write 13 minus y. So instead of x over here, we're going to write 13 minus y. I'm going to have 13 minus y, because that is what x is. And then I'm going to minus y, and I'm going to say that that's equal to 5. Okay. Anyone uncertain with that step? You can have the brackets, but you don't have to have the brackets. So the brackets are optional at this point. But if you wanted to put them in, you absolutely could put them in. Okay.
Okay, we have 3 hands.
Can you go through the list for me, Mr. Shongwe?
How? Okay, Mohau is not there. Nandumiso. Okay, Nandumiso, you're muted. Just unmute. Okay. There we go. Yes.
I wanted to ask about 13 minus y in brackets minus y equals to 5. I don't understand.
Okay, so all that's happening is that instead of writing x, because we don't want to have 2 variables, we only want to be dealing with 1 variable. And in this case, we want to deal with y. So instead of writing x, we found a different way of writing x, because x is... Guys, you need to be muted.
Please mute. Please mute.
Everyone needs to be on mute, because otherwise you mess up the lesson for everyone else. Okay, thank you. So what's happening here is that instead of writing x, we're going to write what we say the value for x is. And so we've said that the value for x is 13 minus y. And so instead of writing x, we are going to write 13 minus y. That's what we're choosing to put there instead of x, because that is what x is equal to. Okay. Let me finish working through this question and show you the other option before we start dealing with these hands over here, because I think some of your answers may come together as we go through this question. Okay, so just lower your hands for the moment. I promise if you still have a question at the end, I will definitely answer it. But just for the moment, lower them, and we're going to go through this step by step. And if you're still feeling confused after it, we'll come back to them. Okay. Okay, so all that's happened here, let's just go through this step by step, is the first thing that we did was we isolated 1 variable. So in this case, I isolated x. So I said x is equal to 13 minus y. That was my first step. My second step, so this is substitution. First step, isolate the variable. Second step, we are going to put that, so well, let's say substitute, I'm struggling with spelling today, into the second equation. Okay, so we're going to take this x and we're going to substitute it into our second equation. And so now, instead of writing x, I'm going to write 13 minus y equals 5. So that's step 2. Okay, step 1. Oh, gosh. Step 1, isolate the variable. Step 2, substitute into the second equation. Okay, step 3, solve for y or solve for x, depending on what we need to solve for. So here I've got 13 minus y equals 5. So negative y, that's going to be negative 2y equals 5 minus 13. So negative 2y is equal to negative 13 plus 5, which gives us negative 8. Divide both sides by negative 2. And so y is equal to positive 4. Okay, that's step 3. Solve for whatever variable we are trying to solve. That's this whole step here, step 3. Then when we have y, we can solve for our other variable. So the 4th step, solve for x. So now we know that y is equal to 4. So we can go back to this very first equation, and instead of writing y, we can write 4. So we can say, therefore, x is equal to 13 minus 4, which means x is equal to 9. And that would be our final step over there. Okay. So first step is we're wanting to isolate a variable. Second step, we're wanting to substitute into the second equation. Third step, we solve for y or solve for x, depending on what our equation has. Last step, we solve for the second variable or the other variable. Okay, that is how we do it with substitution. That's our first method. We do it by substitution. Second method I'm going to show you is elimination. Now, some people find elimination much, much easier, but it's totally up to you. Okay, and remember, we're going to go through lots of these today, so don't panic. This is just the first one. So if you're struggling with this one, it's okay. We're going to do lots of questions like this today. Lots and lots of questions. So don't stress. It's all a learning process. Okay, the elimination method, I'm going to do it in blue over here. I need a little bit more space. Okay, elimination. And also remember, you're welcome to write your questions in the chat. It's much easier for me to see them and answer, or for Mr. Shongwe to answer while I'm teaching. Okay. For the elimination method, it helps to write one equation on top of the other. So the first equation I had was x plus y equals 13. And the second equation I have is x minus y is equal to 5. Okay. Now you could do various things, but basically with the elimination method is we're wanting to get rid of one of our variables. Okay. So here, for example, if I said x minus x, then those x's are going to go away. So we can minus that whole first equation and we can minus the second one. Okay, so what we're saying is x minus x, which is 0. Now we need to be careful because a negative and a negative is a positive. Okay, so it's going to be y plus y, which is 2y. And be careful, we're minusing this 5. 13 minus 5, which is going to be 8. So we get 2y equals 8, which means y is equal to 4. And then you just substitute it into one of the other equations. So we can say x plus 4 is equal to 13, which means x is equal to 9. So elimination is we're just taking one of the equations and we're subtracting it or adding it to the other. And substitution is we're isolating one of the variables and we're putting it into a second one. Okay, so where you have to create or find a third equation, that normally falls into elimination. And it just means that we have to sort of do it sort of step by step. So the negative in front of the x is because I'm saying I want to minus the whole of that second equation from the first equation so that I can get rid of these x's because I want to get rid of one of my variables. So it's important for me to minus that whole equation. Let's have a look at some of these other comments that are coming in. Sure, I will definitely explain it again. As soon as we go through our second question, I will explain them again for sure as we move through. Spirit. Okay, these two questions, and then we're going to move on to the second one. So, Kathy. Okay. Yeah, x is equal to 13 minus 4, which is equal to 9. Same. I just didn't write that step where it said 13 minus 4. Okay, let's try and go through the one. Okay, I'll talk you through this one, and then I'll let you try the next one. So, substitution method, we want to isolate a variable. Again, remember you can choose x or y, it doesn't matter. So let's say I'm trying to choose x over here. I'm going to isolate my variable. X is equal to 53 minus y. So my first step there was all I wanted to do was isolate my variable. Now, instead of writing x in my second equation, I'm going to write 53 minus y. So I'm going to say 53 minus y, that's my x, minus y equals 5. Okay, hopefully some light bulbs are starting to turn on at this point, seeing it for a second time. Then I have 53 minus y, which is 53 minus 2y, which is equal to 5. Okay. Negative 2y is equal to 5 minus 53. So negative 2y is equal to negative 48. Divide both by negative 2, which means y is equal to positive 24. Got our first answer. Substitute back into the equation to get x. X is equal to 53 minus y, but we know that y is 24. So x is 53 minus 24. 53 minus 24 is 29. And so we know that y is equal to 24 and x is equal to 29. That is substitution. Okay. Tishfiwa, how can I help?
I wanted to ask, in a test, would you be asked like this?
Yeah, you would be given two equations and they would tell you to solve for x and y. And then it's up to you how you want to solve it. So you don't have to, you can choose whichever method you prefer.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Okay, good. I'm seeing some good things happening here in the chat. Good. Okay, let's try our second way now. So let's try, oh, sorry, CM Tanda, how can I? Okay, guys, you need to put your hands up. CM Tanda's hands up. You can go.
Excuse me, ma'am. What if there'd only be one sum? Then how would we solve that?
Okay, if there's only one sum, then they can't do a simultaneous equation. So then you're just solving for x or just solving for y, but you can't do both. You have to be given two sums to have both variables. Okay, Mahal?
Ma'am, what if there were 3?
There would only be, I don't really think there's any case really in grade 10 where you would have 3 unless you were doing advanced program maths. So you don't need to worry with 3. You just need to worry about 2.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yes, hello? I lost someone there.
Oh, sorry. Hi, ma'am. Can we try solve for one variable?
So solving for one variable was this first step over here.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to show you the elimination method with this one.
Ma'am.
Please remember to put your hand up when you have a question, sweetheart. Carry on.
Ma'am, can we do one where we have a an exponent?
Not today. We're just learning how to do these today. So we're not going to do any tricky ones today.
Okay.
Okay. Dion?
So I just want to ask if it's that possible if we find x plus y and there's a number before the equal sign.
Yes, so sometimes there will be a number, but again, those will be in the slightly tougher ones, and we're not going to do those ones today. We're just focusing on the easier ones today to learn how to do them. Okay. Okay, guys. Second way we're going to learn, well, that we're going to go through is elimination method. So we're going to go through this exact same question, but with elimination. So now focus super hard in case you were unclear on how to do it in the last one. My first equation that I have is x plus y is equal to 53. And then I've got x minus y is equal to 5. Okay, now I can choose to plus or minus the equation from each other. It just depends on what I do, and then it'll depend on which variable is going to cancel out. So if I'm going to minus, so I'm minusing this bottom equation from the top one, and we're going to go through that step by step. So x minus x is equal to 0. Okay, y minus negative y. Now remember, when I have two negatives together, they become a positive. So that's saying y minus minus, which is plus. So y plus y is 2y. Now I have 53 minus 5, which is going to be 48. So I have 2y equals 48, which means y is equal to 24. That's my first thing. Second step, we now need to solve for x. We can choose either equation. It doesn't matter. I can choose that one, or I could choose that one. We're going to choose the one that's easiest to work with. Okay, so x plus 24 equals 53. And I can say plus 24 because my y value is 24. Okay, and so now I'm just saying, what is 53 minus 24? So x is equal to 53 minus 24, which is equal to 29. Okay, now you don't need to be happy with both of these methods. You only need to be happy with one. You either need to be happy with the substitution method, which is the yellow method, or you need to be happy with the elimination method. Just choose one. You can choose whichever one you like. In your test, they will never ask you to choose a specific one. They will just say solve for x and y. So it doesn't matter which one you choose whichever one you are feeling confident with. Okay. So I want you now, before you panic, I want you to try a question by yourselves, and I want you to follow it step by step, either with substitution or with elimination. It is up to you which one you would like to do. Okay, and then I'm going to show you both methods afterwards to try and get to your answer. Okay.
There are 2 hands.
Okay, but we need to move on to our second question. So just think very carefully if it's a very important question. And if it's not a very important question, then lower the hand. And if it is very important, then we'll go through it. Okay, Amanda.
Ma'am, I want to ask on the elimination method, why did you minus? Why did you use subtraction?
I'm wanting to get rid of one of my variables. So I wanted, in this case, to get rid of my x's. So I said x minus x is going to give me 0. So your goal in the elimination method is to get rid of one of your variables. That's why I'm minused.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Next one. Next question.
Hello, ma'am. At school we started doing this today, and we're getting a test on Friday. So and ma'am told us that we'll be getting one with trinomial. When will we be doing? It's
Sweetheart,
yeah, okay,
I'm going to say this for the third time now, we are only doing easy ones today because we're just learning this concept. We're only going to do slightly trickier ones on Thursday, but we're only doing basic ones today while we learn this because we have to start somewhere. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. CM Tanda?
Yes, ma'am. Why didn't the x's in the elimination method cancel out immediately? And if we chose, why didn't the y's cancel out immediately? And if we chose x, how would we interpret that into the following step?
Okay, so our y's, our y's didn't cancel out immediately because we're not saying y minus y. We're saying y minus y, which becomes plus y, and that's why it became 2y. If I was wanting to take away my y's from each other, I wouldn't minus this equation from the other one. I would plus the equations together. And then I would have 2x plus 0 equals 58. And we would go from there. So it just depends on which variable we're trying to get to go away.
So ma'am, how would you interpret the answer for your x into the next step?
For this part over here, I'm just choosing either one of my equations. So I chose this first equation over here. I have x plus y equals 53. So I'm going to have, I know my y value is 24. So I'm just going to say x plus 24 equals 53. But I could have chosen either. I could also have chosen this equation over here. Okay. All right, guys. It is time for you to try. I want you to try this fully by yourselves. From the start, if you have a question while you are working on it, you're welcome to send a message and I'm happy to help you as you move along. But I do want you to give this question a try. So you can either do substitution or elimination. But what I'm wanting to know is what my value for x is and what my value for y is. So that is your current goal. What your value for x is and what your value for y is. And as soon as you have answers, I'd like you to put them in the chat for me so we can go through them. Okay, so I see the question that you have in the chat. It's a trickier simultaneous equation, so we're not going to go through those ones today. We're going to do those later in the class. This is just learning how to do them today. That's all we're doing. Okay. So think about which method you would like to use and then solve for your x and your y. Great. Okay, seeing some great answers coming through. Okay. Okay, substitution, I'm going to isolate x. So I'm going to say x is equal to 26 minus y, which means 26 minus y is equal to 14. So 26 minus 2y is equal to 14. Negative 2y equals 14 minus 26. Negative 2y is equal to negative 12. Divide both sides by negative 2, which means y is equal to 6. So a big well done to those of you who got y is equal to 6. That is awesome. Okay, then we just substituted back into the end. Therefore, x is equal to 26 minus 6, which is equal to 20. So our answer is x is 20 and y is 6. So well done to those of you who got there. That is awesome. Okay, so that is using substitution. If we are happy with substitution, we stick with substitution. You stick with whichever one you are happier with. Elimination. I'm going to write, I have x plus y, and that's equal to 26. And I'm got x minus y is equal to 14. Okay. So I'm going to stick with the same one that I did in the previous one. So I'm going to minus the second equation from the first one. So I'm going to say x minus x, which is 0, y minus negative y, which is positive 2y, and 26 minus 14, which is 12. So I get y is equal to 6. And then I'm going to substitute that into one of my equations. So I'm going to say x plus 6 is equal to 26, which means x is 26 minus 6, which means x is 20. And those are my two answers. Great. How did this go? Did this go well? I'm so glad you understand it a bit better. That's awesome. Okay, I will deal with the questions. I just want to get in the, I think, guys, we're not going to have time for a puzzle today. There just isn't enough time. Let's just quickly zoom through these questions and then I'll give you another one to work through. Nokubonga, let's go.
Ma'am, I had a question, but now I figured out where my mistake was. When I took the 26 to the other side, I forgot that I had a negative 2y, but I wrote it down as 2y instead of negative 2y.
That's great that you figured out where you went wrong. That's awesome. Good job. Okay, so how can I help?
Ma'am, I don't understand, ma'am. The laws of exponents say, wait, it's not exponent. I mean, ma'am, negative y times negative y, a negative and a negative, shouldn't they give you a positive?
They do. That's why y plus y becomes 2y. That's why this is 2y.
No, ma'am, not on that side. On the substitution side, ma'am.
On this side, but that's not, you're not multiplying there, sweetheart, you're minusing. You're just saying minus y minus another y. That's just this, that's the same as me saying negative 1 minus 1.
But ma'am, the bracket, doesn't it stand for multiplication, ma'am?
Only if I have a number right next to the brackets, like that. Not if there's a sign in between them.
Oh, snap. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
No problem. Non-dumiso, how can I help? Okay. All right, let's move on. Go. Let's try and see if we can do 2 more still tonight. Maybe we can even do 3. It's gonna make your brains break a little bit. But that's okay. Because if we can understand how to do these simple ones, then when we have our lesson on Thursday, we'll be able to do trickier ones. But if we can't do these simple ones, then the tricky ones are going to be completely undoable. So we have to make sure we can do the basics so we can build on it. Okay, so try your best with this one and see if you can get your values for x and y. Remember, it doesn't matter which method you use. Tishbiwa, yeah.
Do we do the same method but switch it since it's x equals 18 plus y? I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, so the only thing that's different here is I've just written the questions in a different way, but I've actually made it easier for you because I've already isolated x for you. So I've already told you this is what x is. Oh, goodness. If you are doing the elimination method, then yes, you're going to first have to move your y over. So you're going to first have to move, oh, goodness. You first are going to have to move that guy over, so that it's in the same format as your x's and y's in a number. That's why, like, the cool thing with knowing both methods is you can decide which one makes more sense for the question you're dealing with.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, keep those answers coming, guys. Remember, it's just about figuring out which method works best for you, and that's the one that we want to focus on. And if you're seeing this for the first time today, of course it felt scary. It's like brand new maths. It's okay to not know what's going on. The important thing is that you know more by the end of the lesson than you did at the beginning. Okay. Substitution. I've already got what my x value is. So I already know that x is 18 plus y. So I get to say, sorry, that this over here is now 18 plus y. Now you can put it in brackets, but you don't have to. So 18 plus y is equal to 26, which means 18 plus 2y is equal to 26. So 2y is equal to 26 minus 18. And 26 minus 18 is going to give us 8, which means that y is equal to 4. Okay, then I can just substitute it back into that first equation. So x is equal to 18 plus y, which is equal to 18 plus 4, which means x is 22. So we've got x and we've got y, and that is substitution. If you are happy with substitution and you got your 4 and you got your 22, that is awesome. And you can give yourself a celebration, which is great. Okay, now we're going to focus on elimination. For elimination to work, I need to have both of my equations looking the same. So my first step is to move that y over. So I have x plus y is equal to 26. I'm so happy you understand as well. And in the second equation, I'm going to move this y onto the other side. So I'm going to have x minus y is equal to 18. I'm going to stick to what we were doing. So I'm going to subtract the second equation from the first one. So x minus x is going to be 0. Y minus y is going to be plus 2y. 26 minus 18 is going to give me 8. Therefore, y is equal to 4. Substitute it back into the equation. X is equal to 18 plus 4, which means x is equal to 22. Okay, elimination is green, substitution is yellow. Depending on which method you did, you should get to the exact same answers. And I'm hoping that we are getting slowly stronger at this. I think we have time to sneak one more question in. Does anyone need to sit on this page any longer? Just let me know. Okay, we're going to sneak one more question in. Illumination. I like it though.
Yeah, hey?
You were illuminated with the correct answer. Okay, give this one a try. This is going to be our last one for the evening. So just do your best. See how it goes. And hopefully we can get this one 100% right, which will set us in good stead for Thursday's lesson. And on Thursday's lesson, we'll try some of those tougher ones that you were talking about in your questions and you brought up in the chats. We'll do all of those types of questions on Thursday. Mohau, hello, how can I help?
Ma'am, I was doing just good until I saw a negative y.
You can move things though.
Now, ma'am, I'm feeling like I should have paid attention in elimination. Like, wow.
No. For substitution, you could do the exact same thing. Just move your x over and move your y over. You can move it however you like it to look. So that it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure. No problem. CM Tanda, yeah, how can I help?
Sorry, ma'am, with the negative y, are we Are we supposed to convert the positive 13 into a negative 13 when we put it in the first term?
So you can decide what you're wanting to do with this. If you wanted this to be a positive y, you could divide everything by a -1. So then y would be -13 plus x. You could do it that way. Or you could just move that x to the side and that y to that side. Or you could, depends on which method you're wanting to use. But you can manipulate the equation so that it looks the way you're wanting it to look, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple more minutes just to finish this off. Okay, let's start going through this question. So, substitution. Because the left-hand side, the right-hand side looks a little bit nasty, I'm going to change it a little bit, okay? So for those of you who are feeling confused, I'm going to move my x onto the side so that my x becomes positive. So that's going to be a nice positive x, and I'm going to move my y onto that side. So it's going to be 13 plus y. You don't have to do that. I'm just writing it like that because I think it'll be easier for you guys to see what's going on. Okay, so I've isolated my x. My x is 13 plus y. So now I'm going to put that, oh goodness, over here. And I'm going to say 13 plus y is equal to 27. So 13 plus 2y is equal to 27. 2y is equal to 27 minus 13. 2y is equal to 14, which means y is equal to 7. Okay, which we should all be happy with at this point. Now we want to find out what x is, and so I'm just going to substitute it into that other equation. X is equal to 13 plus 7, which is equal to 21. Okay. Oh, guys, I cannot add 13 plus 7, 20. Sure. Goodness.
Oh, yeah.
My brain, guys, it's
We
died.
also do those mistakes.
My goodness. Okay. All right. Next one, elimination method. Elimination method. I want to get them to look the same as each other. So I've got x plus y is equal to 27. And then I'm going to move my x over. So I'm going to have x minus y is equal to 13. And I'm going to subtract my second equation from my first one. So x minus x is 0. Y plus y is going to be 2y. 27 minus 13 is 14, which means y is equal to 7. Substitute it back in. X is equal to 13 plus 7, which is 20 and not 21. And those are our answers.
Hey, we have a hand from Nogobonga and Mohau.
Nogobonga, go ahead.
Ma'am, I feel like something is wrong with my brain because when I started the equation, I wrote brackets 13 minus x plus x is equal to 27. And then I went on and said 13 plus 2y is equal to 27. And I still got the correct answer, but different signs.
Yeah. So just be careful when you move things around. Okay. Just be very careful as you move things to make sure you've got it in the right place.
Okay, ma'am.
But you're noticing where you went wrong, and that's what's super important. Guys, I am still going to answer these questions where the hands are up, but I'm just going to ask if Mr. Shongwe, if you can share, I think we have a poll. Do we have a poll here, which was, I'm just trying to see which one it was. I think, okay, Mr. Shongwe, choose the one that says rate this lesson, if you can. So Mr. Shongwe is just going to run a poll, and everyone, if you could please answer that, that would be great. And then I'm just going to answer these questions while you guys are doing that. And once you've finished answering the poll, you're welcome to leave and have a beautiful Tuesday evening, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Okay, so once you finish the poll and you don't have a question for me, then you can be on your merry way, and I'll see you on Thursday. Okay, Offensi, how can I help?
Hi, ma'am, I'm confused because my answer, it was x equals 27 minus y. And then the 13 was on the other side completely because it was negative y plus x equals 13.
Negative y plus x equals negative y plus x equals 13. No, negative y plus x does equal 13. You have done that right?
Yes, but then my answer for y, it was y equals negative 7.
But it should be negative y is equal to negative 7. You're forgetting that negative sign in front of your y.
Oh, okay. I found it. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. Okay, once you filled in the poll, you're welcome to have a lovely evening, and we will see you guys on Thursday. Hopefully you understand a little bit more than you did when you came in. Mohau, I see your hand. How can I help?
Ma'am, I still don't understand how you got x as 20, ma'am. That's the part I don't understand. I got 7 the same, but I didn't.
Okay, so you were able to see that y is 7.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then all we're doing, so that's the hard part. Then all we're doing is we're looking at one of the equations. So like, let's say we were looking at this equation over here. Okay, now you know that y is equal to 7. Okay, so we're going to write, instead of that, we're going to say we've got x plus 7 is equal to 27. Are you happy with that? And then I'm just moving that 7 over. X is equal to 27 minus 7. So x is equal to 20.
Oh, okay, ma'am. I see my mistake. I actually substituted the negative y on the other side.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
No
Have a
problem.
lovely evening.
You too. See you on Thursday.
Thank you, ma'am.
Josh, I see you have a question. How can I help? Josh?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, if you're, so when you did it, you swapped, but I didn't. So my answer came out 7 equals y. Does that make it wrong? Or
No. That's absolutely fine. Totally fine.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to know. Thank you.
No, totally fine. Okay.
We have Siam Tanda.
Sure, Siam Tanda.
Sorry. When we were converting, I don't know how to say this. Okay, when I did my substitution method, I said x plus, and then I put brackets and I said negative 13 plus x, and then I closed the bracket and I said equals to 27. So after that, everything else lined up, but it was x equal to 7 instead of y equal to 7. Can you please tell me why we had a 2x instead of we had a 2y instead of a 2x?
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I'm writing down what you have said, you good. So you said that y is equal to negative 13 plus x.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you substituted that in there. So then you would have had x minus 13 plus x is equal to 27?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so 2x would be equal to, now, oh, you know what happened is you minused, you didn't add it. So you said 27 minus 13, but it should be 27 plus 13. So then the 2x would be equal to the 40, which means x is still going to be 20.
Yes, ma'am. But why do you guys have a y and I have an x?
It doesn't matter which one you have. It just means because you've isolated a different variable, but it's totally fine to isolate y instead of x. That doesn't matter.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. Okay, last question of the night. I think we've got Lindy. Oh, I'm going to mess up your name, my sweetheart. Thank you. Okay, how can I help?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
I'm asking if they on the elimination method, is there a possibility that there could be a positive sign instead of a negative sign, or is it always a negative sign?
No, you could have a positive sign, but if you had a positive sign, then I would have landed up with 2x and my y's would have cancelled and I would have landed up with 40. So it just depends on it. The different sign is going to create something different.
So if, oh, thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Bye.
Okay, bye guys. See you all on Thursday.
Okay.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.